All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto YAHWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Also want to give double honors unto the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations unto the elect of Yasharallah, which consists of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as the Akim out there enduring this truth across the four corners of the earth, teaching and prophesying through the spirit of Yahweh, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, in truth and sincerity, as well as the men and women that follow, and those who might look like the other nations by other nation of Israel on their father's side by blood. And wanted to get into a quick lesson. You know, this the tortoise and the hare story was on my mind the other day. And then I had seen a post that a brother had put up, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna get into that lesson since, you know, the spirit brought it back up. And nonetheless, you know, as I say, you know, why did the hare lose to the tortoise? It says the hare lost to the tortoise primarily due to overconfidence, arrogance, and a lack of discipline, right? Because those characteristics can cause us to act different, can cause us to act poorly, I would say, you know, be disrespectful as well. You know, you're overconfident, you feeling like you on top of the world, can't nothing stop you. We got to remember, YAHWASHI is in control of this thing. Arrogance right along with it, and a lack of discipline. You got to have discipline when you serving YAHWASHI. All right, and the thing about discipline is you know, it's got to be built up. You know, it got to be built up for the most part, I would say, because you could just go cold turkey with some things. But even like the elder brother here likes to say, you could be disciplined in one area, you could be disciplined in multiple. So, hey, if you get disciplined in a certain diet, you know, get disciplined in working out or exercising rather, you know what I'm saying? Or tackling books that you may have, or, you know, whatever the case is, you know. It also says, because the hare knew he was significantly faster, he underestimated the tortoise. Deciding to take a nap mid-race, by the time he awoke, the tortoise's steady pace had already secured the win. You know, so it's not about the speed. You know, it's not about the strength. All right, it's not about the advantages versus the disadvantages in a sense. You know, in this thing, we be humble. We be mighty, we be bold, we be spiritual, we be courageous, but whatever we be, all right, we do it through the spirit of YAHWASHI, you know. So getting into Ecclesiastes 9:10, it says, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. So whatever you're going to do it with your might. And I'm really speaking on this gospel, all right, this walk, this race that we're in towards salvation today. But it definitely applies to other things, all right? Whatever you're going to do it. Because once you're gone, you can't, there is no doing it. And that's even why I was like, well, let me do this lesson. I was like, I might not have enough time. Then so be it. You know what I'm saying? The Lord will provide that time. I was like, I'm gonna just hit record and go off with the spirit. I got a few precepts, and I'm gonna just go with that and roll with the spirit. The Lord will provide that time. All right. But you know, once again, the brother say, putting the Lord first. All right. Shit, I had a whole lot. I had to pick my son up, drop him off, come back here, straighten up. Then I was like, well, shoot, I want to get a little nap before I head to the gig, but I definitely want to do a lesson, you know, and I prayed to the Lord, and it happened. You know, I got a little rest, and I feel more rested than I did previously. Well, you know, earlier today, but I also had an opportunity to do a lesson. Now, what happened in between there is I had got on my phone and I started scrolling, and I ended up on Amazon, and I'm like, dang, I could use this, do that, and I'm, you know, so that you gotta watch for those distractions. That comes at a lack of discipline. So we have to have discipline. I was like, nah, I literally closed out the app. Let me get out of here and get this lesson done, you know, because upon getting prepare for the lesson, getting the precepts together, I had to go into the app to hear the message that the brother had left for a precept, you know, that he had put in there. And then when I went into that app, I started going everywhere else. So it happens. But it says, verse 11, it says, I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not given to the swift. Yeah, the hare was the swifter of the two, but he didn't win that race due to his lack of discipline, due to his arrogance, man. Okay, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all. And those opportunities come about, man. You know, everybody has their opportunity to grow, to level up, to even understand this knowledge. All right. But some the Lord has blinded from this knowledge. Well, the ones who have it, he's wiped that eyes out. He's allowed us to understand it. Hey, going back up to verse 10, you know, whatsoever your hand findeth to do, do it with your might. All right. So if you've been allowed to understand this word, hey, run that race. You know, don't burn yourself out, because it's a slow and steady pace. You know, it's a slow and steady pace, man. As the brother had quoted in the message earlier, though it tarry, wait for it. You know, so it's going to take some time, but we definitely see the times that we're in. You know, you can see the finish line. All right, that don't mean you slow down on your pace. You know, you keep on that pace, and then when that finish line hit, that's when you give it all you got. You know, it says, for man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in a snare, so are the sons of men snared in an evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them. Yeah, you could be like, I'll do the lesson later, and later might not come, you know, to whatever reason. You can, I mean, to be blunt, you know, Lord forbid, but you can lose your life. That's just reality. The Lord can call for you to come home. You know, that can happen. You can get distracted. All right. You can end up going to work and getting off late. Now you're more tired. That happened to me a couple times. It's like I'm expecting to get off at a certain time. Then I get hit with a 2-hour notice. And when I get off, all I'm thinking about is the bed, you know. So I have to adjust, you know, make, you know, the opportunity before work, just in case I get off late. All right. Might get done early at work, do a lesson even then at that point, you know. But when it's your time, it's your time. Like I said, so are the sons of men snared in an evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them. And, you know, evil meaning, you know, bad. All right. So certain things can happen to stop you from what you intended to do. Okay. So you got to capitalize in the moment. All right. You know, we got to get 1 Corinthians. This is 1 Corinthians 9. And what version is this? Let me see. Oh, this is straight NLT. I'm like, huh? Athlete. Okay, here we go. There we go. This is 1 Corinthians 9 and 24. It says, know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain. And because you in this race, you have to run. You know, you're not going to receive anything, any prize. You won't even receive bronze if you don't run. You know, some people never start the race. Some people start the race and then this is stupid. This is boring. This ain't for me. You know, it goes down into the seeds that was sown, and everybody didn't fall on that good ground. All right, you fell on that good ground. Continue to run. All right, run that you may receive the prize, that you may receive salvation. It says, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. You know, self-controlling. There's always things to work on, always ways to get better. You know, but you got to examine yourself whether you be in the faith. And on top of examining yourself, you got to be honest with yourself. You know, examine and be honest. All right. It says, now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. Yeah, because he's referencing races, you know, as you can see during the time of the you know, Rome, and their different the Roman Colosseum, different races and different fights and things of that nature. All right, the bread and circuses, the entertainment that they had going on, and he referencing that. Now they do all of that for a corruptible crown. You know, got the NBA finals going on right now. Then soon it'll be baseball. You know, their championship. You know, then before you know it, it'll be February all over again. And, you know, for the most part. Now the Super Bowl is back around. They doing all of that for a corruptible crown, but we for an incorruptible crown. All right, we're doing it for salvation. All right, to please and glorify YAHWASHI YAHWASHI. Okay, it says, I therefore so run, not as uncertainly which it says what? Adelos, right? Which it says uncertainly. Let's see what the root. Got anything for the root? Not manifest, indistinct, uncertain, obscure. All right. It says uncertain goes back to not certain. All right. Of indeterminate time or occurrence, also unknown and unknowable. So not certain, certain, determined, fixed, resolved, established, beyond doubt, placed beyond doubt, settled, sure, true, proved. So meaning what? And essentially you're running blind. You're running uncertainly, you're running blind. You don't really know where you're running. You're not really sure where you're running. Like it says, assured. That's being certain, but uncertain is not being assured. What the scriptures speak about us being assured. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 14. It says, but continue thou in things which thou hast learned and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them. You know, and we've learned from our apostles on down, man. All right. And they ain't will give up, take a day off. No, with them, through the spirit of YAHWASHI YAHWASHI, is push. They had a year to push at a point in time. You know, they had that. All right. Which was pushing this word, man. Running that race. Okay. It says, I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air. You know, you burning out your energy. All right. You're not hitting anything. But I keep under my body self-control and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. So you got to practice what you preach in this thing as well. Because you can speak on the words that you've read out the book, but if you're not keeping them, you're going to become a castaway. Like it says right here, you're going to be disqualified from the race. You know, let me read the NLT. I discipline my body like an athlete, training it to do what it should. Otherwise, I fear that after preaching to others, I myself might be disqualified. So you got to properly prepare for the race as well, you know? Doing your stretches, doing your training, all right, which all of that is working on yourself. That's why I say you got to examine yourself and be honest, you know. And this would be the last one. This is the one that the brother had quoted. This is Hebrews 12:1. It says, wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lie aside every weight and the sin which doeth so easily beset us, right? Because you're gonna constantly be hit with temptation. All right, we're in the furnace of adversity, so you constantly gonna be working on yourself in a sense of being cleansed, man, being refined. Okay, so when the Lord shows up, that you're worthy, all right, you're a worthy vessel to be accepted, man. All right. So you got to lay aside every weight, you know, distractions, whatever's trying to stop you. All right. And the sin which doeth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. All right. It's not given to the swift. It's not given to the strong. Okay. It's not about how fast you can get there. It's about, can you endure and get there? Right. It says, looking unto YAHWASHI, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and set it down, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of the Most High. He finished his race. He ran his course, you know. All right, he did his part. Well, you go to 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, he's given us the ministry of reconciliation. Now it's our time to do what he did, you know, make our sacrifices and keep under our body, you know, keep the word to our best ability. All right. Endure our trials and tribulations. This is Proverbs 3:11. It says, my son, despise not the chastening of the Most High Yahweh, neither be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth. So the Lord corrects us in measure, right? To make us better, to make us grow. All right. To make us stay on the right path, to give us an opportunity to receive salvation. But if you constantly do what you want to do and go at your own pace or whatever the case is, you might end up falling off the wagon, man. It says, for consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest ye be weary and faint in your minds. And that's the thing. If you got to understand, we are worthy to receive the things that we've done in this life, to, you know, because of the things that we done in this life, you know. YAHWASHI, he didn't sin in his life, but he took on our sins. All right. He took on our sins that we can receive this grace that we have. So lest you be weary and faint in your mind, remember what YAHWASHI did and how he endured and how he finished his race, man. All right. So with that, Lord willing, you was edified, and Lord willing, we allowed to endure to the end. Once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH, Shalom.